Good evening, everyone. I welcome you again to the Sankhyan perspective. And yet again, we are here discussing the different domains of SQAA. Today, we discuss domain 1.2, 1.4, and 1.6. And our guest for the day is Director Principal Shanti Krishnamurthy. Giving a brief introduction about Shanti ma'am, I think she is someone who needs no introduction in the field of education. She is Director Academics and Administration, Chinmaya International Residential School, Coimbatore. Ma'am is Director, Central Chinmaya Mission Trust Education Cell, the governing body that has 95 schools and 9 colleges in its ambit, both in India and abroad. She's a master's in mathematics and education with an over 45 years of experience in the field of education. Shanti ma'am was the founding principal of Mahindra World School, Chennai, and served as principal till 2009. Later, she joined Chinmaya International Residential School as principal and was there till March 2018. As a mathematics examiner for IB diploma, she did that profile for 6 years and has a huge gambit of accomplishments. She partnered with Bihar government in designing curriculum for Pathshala schools. She's done number of inspections for affiliations for CBSE for more than 15 years. She designed the academic and vision assessment model for Chinmay schools, has presented papers, written articles, and has been a speaker at different national and international forums. She's conducted a number of workshops for teachers in India and Dubai. She's been appointed a mentor for 5 schools in Coimbatore for 6 years by CBSE to mentor them, a British Council ambassador since 2012, a member of the Dozier Assessment Panel since 2012, a very highly decorated principal. She has been a recipient of CBSE Mentor Principal Award. She has been a recipient of Chinmay Gaurav Award, Chinmay Vision Certificate for Effective Implementation of Value-Based Education. She has received the White Swan Award for the Most Influential Principal, has been honored as Professor of Practice by Chinmay University 2022. Ma'am, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here. I could go on unendingly with such an impressive profile. And I think we've been looking up to you not only as an educationist, but as a guide and a mentor also in the core SQAA team. Domain 1 is the heaviest domain of the SQAA manual. No wonder I came up to you to kindly explain and handhold for those managements, principals, and teachers who are going for affiliations of different kinds and would want a better understanding of domain 1. I would want you to touch up, give an overview of domain 1, particularly 1.2, 1.4, and 1.6, so that before people go to read the manual, this video actually helps them to understand the domain in its true spirit and then to go about it. It will make their job easier.
Thank you, Vinodita ma'am. Probably anybody spending 4 decades will have all these credentials. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful being associated with you. And also, I have to tell you, it's a very beautiful initiative that you have taken up. If it is going to be useful for the new people, new principals who are going to read the manual, I'll be very, very happy about it. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful service that you're doing. Thank you. As if you take any school in any part of the country, whether it is a remote place or a village or in a city or in metro or international schools, every school is working in its own very, very beautifully. They have their own activities and the lot of effort goes in, and then, whatever we see outside is under the tip of the iceberg, that whatever hard work has gone behind, we see it. The SQAA is a facility program, I should say. It facilitates every school to grow up in their own way. The beauty of SQAA is that it is all of us in the field of education, we all want our schools to progress. I'm sure education is a field which involves a lot of human minds, parents, teachers, and the children and the society. Everybody is looking up to the school. And if any school progresses, The entire stakeholder team are going to be really happy about it. They are going to have joy when a school is progressing. And SQAA facilitates that kind of a progress. And what is SQAA looking at? What is it that we are aiming at? It is talking about how, as we are running schools, how can we make it a system-based organization? How systems can be brought into a school so that it is sustained. It's not a person-based. You see, many times the school is running very well, and the principal leaves the school. You can see that the school goes, it cannot be seen at all. The visibility has gone for the school. You don't know whatever reason. So any system-based school will not collapse like that. It will run by its own because people are empowered in that organization. So SQAA mainly aims at bringing up people together, collaboration, and everybody taking accountability. That's a key statement of SQAA is collaboration, accountability, and innovation. And once they take accountability, so many minds getting involved, you will definitely have a lot of innovation coming up instead of one principal and vice principal thinking about how to do things. So it's about involving the entire team. Not we're just talking about the teachers, all about the parents. Some students are also resources. So it's very carefully designed, the entire the framework. It addresses the various aspects of a school. How do parents select a school? Do they want infrastructure, or they want good teachers, or they want good resources or IT facility? If you look at it, they want all of it together. They want everything to be in a school. That's where the school parents look up to a school. They say, this is a very good school. And what is the society looking at the school? Is it a respectable place where children are being nurtured very beautifully? So how do we handle that? We have a lot of work as principals. I've been a principal for almost 27 years, sometime in Bihar and sometime in Coimbatore. I know we are challenged with the daily activities, daily challenges, and we forget to take halt a while and see what we are doing. Are we doing the right thing? And are we being futuristic? Today, maybe my school is good, but 10 years from now, where the school will be? So to address all this, SQAA is a very, very beautiful process. It's like a speed breaker for every school. Stop a while, look at all systems, what you have, and see how you can improve the systems. What is working well? Is it making an impact on children? If it is not, what is going wrong? Can we replace it with a different system or a different strategy? All that SQAA helps. And it is also, we need to look at all the levels of a school, the primary level, the middle school level, and the secondary level. So when those teachers are involved, they will come up with their own initiatives and ideas. That is what is SQAA about. We take account of all that is happening in the school, sit down together as a team and analyze what is all going. Where are we now? Are we doing well? Are we doing good? And if good, what can we get better? All that we do, that is the first aspect. We call it as the review aspect of that. SQAA is all about, this is the mantra of SQAA is review, the 4 R's that we talk about, the review and reflect, respond, and rate. These are the 4 R's is the mantra of SQAA. How when you're taking a stock of your own activities, how are we doing now? Are we doing well? What is the impact that it has made? Another very important backbone of SQAA is whatever is done is towards the enhancing the learning outcome of children. One thing, if anybody asks what is SQAA about, you can clearly say to enhance student learning outcome. That is the school. Children are at the center. The focus is at the center of the school. And then we are also looking at bringing in systems into the school. Our people know what we want to do. We want to have an eco-friendly campus. Are the teachers clear about what they have to do, how they have to embed it in the academics? Are enough training being given? 3 levels, again, primary levels, a middle level, all of that. So this is what SQAA is about, training people to do this process itself. SQAA allows them. How you review your processes and reflect upon it, what worked well, what we did not work. And if we are here, where we want to go. School can decide, I'm here now, I can go here. Or some schools say, very ambitious, I want to go there. I want to be on the top. It's up to the school to decide what they want to do. So it empowers the entire team. Everybody takes ownership of the entire process. And once they do that, yeah.
Ma'am, in one of the previous videos, we have also spoken about the PDCA cycle and the core learning team, which should involve teachers from all wings, all levels, and all departments. all areas, students, parents, management. So we shared that video with our audience so that they get to know that this is from where from we start. And there is one very important thing that you spoke about, keeping student learning outcome in the center. So it is a pivot around which the entire manual revolves, and that should be the main vision and mission of all schools.
Yeah, but I
So
think need to keep reminding about this particular the 4 hour aspect, because that is where people get really stuck there. They think, because SQAA is a continual process. Today we have done this, we find we are in level 4, but we need to evaluate it after 3 years, what those practices would have gone. So again, we need to do it. So it's very important to talk about it. That's why I mentioned it again. So we in 1.2 actually addresses 3 subdomains are there. One is, it talks about the optimum number of teaching days and teaching hours. The second subdomain is about teacher-student ratio. And the third one is about teachers adapt varied teaching learning approaches, reflecting their understanding the needs of diverse students. So if you see the first 2 subdomains about the number of teaching days, teaching hours, by and large, we have a structure. All schools have a structure and we follow it. There are not many challenges towards that, unless we had a challenge of pandemic last time. So last 2 years. So we somehow managed with online teaching and all of that. Otherwise, generally, the calendar is there to show the planning. If at all any school does, definitely it is about the number of periods in a week, number of hours in a month, and the attendance and all of that. And the second one also, the student-teacher ratios, to teacher-student ratio, CBSE is suggesting some it's fundamental, the baselines are given in CBSE. It will be good for the schools to revisit. There are some schools with 50 students and 60 students. I do not know how they will address this point. They have to make a note of that CBSE is suggesting up to 40 children in the middle school level and 30 children at the primary level. This is what CBSE is suggesting.
Ma'am, now with OISES, I think it has become mandatory for all schools to limit the number in every class, because
Yes.
OISES form will not pick it up. And before we go in for the self-assessment of score or for the online application for extension or affiliation of any kind, the first step will be filling up of OISES. And
Okay.
that is where the teacher-student ratio will be rectified.
Absolutely, that needs to be taken care. But the main focus probably I can talk about is that 1.2.3, where teachers adapt various learning approaches reflecting their understanding of the needs of the diverse students. So this is where we need to see how we can work on. The children require the diverse, the children are from different background. The background is different, and their own potential is different. Everybody is not logically sound. Maybe somebody is musically good and somebody has the multiple intelligence. That are our teachers aware of that? First of all, how to get an awareness on it. That is something very, very important. And then planning can be done accordingly when the teacher is aware. The training, the capacity building program should be addressed in such a way that teachers make a note of whether the children, what are the skill of this child. Is teacher aware of it first? And then only she can modify the deliverables in the classroom suitably. And if it is done in a suitable manner, multiple attempts, multiple strategies should be used presenting the same lesson. You'll see that how it reaches the child in its own way. It suppose there is an activity is based in the classroom. You can see children who are restless children. They will really find doing an activity, putting a puzzle and all of that. And then whatever the lesson taught reaches the child very beautifully. And there may be somebody who will want to look, is already very, very intelligent, higher order thinking child. So he is ready for higher level questions. Are you stimulating the child with that kind of a higher order thinking in the classroom? And there's a child who you make a song on, say, vegetables, and you do present the song in the whole class. The child who loves music is going to remember it forever. So we are not leaving any child behind when you are planning, when you're deciding how the lesson can be delivered in the classroom. So even the homework, the tasks that we assign, all of that we need to keep in mind about the diverse learning styles of children. Actually, one of the very important things this particular subdomain talks about is every child learns in his own way. Teacher needs to know how learning happens in a child. Somebody can see visible, when you show things, they get to that. The learning happens in the child. And some child, when he meddles with it, when he works on it, he is able to do it. And then there is some child who listens to something, is listening, audio skills are good, that he can learn that lesson well. So how are you going to package that lesson? The teacher needs to know all of this and pack it up in such a way and present it to the class that every child understands it in a very, very beautiful manner. So for that, we need to have a policy. Otherwise, one teacher who is capable might do it. There may not be others who are doing. The school should have a policy that every lesson there will be preparation will be done to handle the different motor skills of children. And once the planning is done accordingly in the lesson plan, we are going to do an exercise. Some children, you can even senior children, the secondary classes, when you take children outdoor visits to site visits and all of that, amazing learning happens to children. They understand. So
that reminds me, ma'am, NEP has very heavily stressed on it, taking the children into the open and actually interacting in the natural environment so that the children understand it better and are connected to the natural environment.
Correct.
So NEP lays a stress on that also.
Absolutely. Allow the child to be in open nature, and then you let him learn. They say learning happens better. It's applicable to different types of children. There are children who can take logically whatever is said in the classroom itself. But there are many children that they expect the strategies, different strategies being planned. So the capacity training, the school should have a policy. The training will be conducted regularly, and teachers will be equipped with the strategies, and then the lesson plan will be written. Then it becomes when in SQAA, we are also thinking how it can become sustained in a school. Once they are documented, it becomes a practice of the school. It becomes the culture of the school. We talk about culture. In Chinmaya, we also not talk about the multiple varied skills. We also have sessions to make teachers understand how I can add a value, ethics into the class. I'm teaching about integers. How can I bring ethics into the classroom? Using the integer lesson, what can I teach them? Or also bring the nationalism into the class when I'm talking about, say, for example, integers. I also tell Brahmagupta talked about it in the 5th century, about our own mathematicians, what they did. So all values should be added to the lesson instead of just, remote doing the exercises or doing the examples given in the book. And there should be one definite aim for the all the teaching deliverables in the classroom is that how inquiry can be stimulated in the classroom. How do we nurture inquiry in the classroom? That is what the learning happens. Only then it becomes a value with the child. It stays on with the value, the understanding, and the needs have to be known. That is a very need, what the child needs. Somebody will be good in writing. Somebody will put a tabular column and do it. He likes to do that. It's art, and children do through painting. Children learn painting. English lessons are taught, and the children. I was mentoring 3 schools, right, when we were doing this program, the pilot study. The English poem, teachers give exercises to children to draw a painting of the character. And you see the child getting involved with the character so much, automatically the poem has reached the child, and also is able to, visualize the character in a very beautiful manner. So that art integration was brought in only for that. We are ignoring children who are good in art, who are good in music or dance. We are ignoring in a classroom. So that is why National Education Policy, and even before that, CBSE brought in art integration into the classroom. Art is integrated with the subject. Maths teaching, we do a lot of artwork with maths teaching and all of that. So this domain definitely demands teachers to be embracing the entire class. Otherwise, what happens? Few children understand, other few go for tuition, and then they go through this rut memorizing loop. They get into a loop and they start hating subject. How do we create maths phobia? We are all responsible for it. Because following one style, we keep do that, and we expect children to understand. Some of them are not left brain children. They can't understand. Are we aware? That is the main thing.
So we understand that it is very, very important that every teacher understands the composition of the class, all the different multiple intelligences that the children have in the classroom, And as NEP says, that art integration and ethics and moral values, these should be kept in the line of vision, and all lessons should be incorporated in a way so that these values and these art integration projects, which art, I believe, every child can do.
Correct.
So that is something we ignore because
Correct.
we feel only small, younger children, they are into drawing and painting. While at the same time, I feel it makes things much more easier and clearer, even for grown up children. So
That's
art integration, it is very good that CBSE has brought into the mainline curriculum and is now integrating all subjects in a way that it will be easier for children to pick up things, and the student learning outcome will be way better in this way.
absolutely. See, if a primary class, a lesson in maths lesson, say for example, is taught, the teacher uses one song, and then the teacher also make them do an activity. The teacher also take them out of the room and do it, and give some activity for art, painting activity, and all of that. When the children go home, if mummy asks them, "What did you learn today?" The child who loved art will say, painted today. I did this. The child who loved playing, and he would say, I learned this through a game. This is actually, that's what stays with the child. That's what, and for that, we can also, NEP recommendations, all of that can be, few of the NEP recommendations should be built into the classroom. It talks about nationalism. That's why I mentioned about it. The pride of the country. You can bring in, if a teacher is teaching a topic, she can find out what has been done. Some research has to be done. It talks about technology development. So some technology can be, homeworks at least can be based on technology or something. The child can work on it. So NEP recommendations, all of them, all skills, number skills, literary skills. And it can be a maths class, but children can make questions and come to the class. You see, their writing skills get better. Their literary skills get better when they start writing questions. Framing questions has a lot of advantage to children who have good literary skills. So this is a holistic picture. And what we can suggest is that you can have a tracker. Class teachers can have a student tracker and write down, what did he do? What is this child good at? How the lesson, and it can be communicated with all the subject teachers who are going to the class, so they understand, oh, this child exceedingly does well. One class, they did the heart pumping as a dance. They had
Okay.
the blood corpuscles, that they did it without any efforts. They had red odni, chuppata, and white dupatta, and then one in the center dancing with some music, with the heart pumping. That was given, and the red corpuscles moving away gracefully, and the white corpuscles.
Oh, that was so pretty.
Absolutely, this is what we are talking about. Will they ever forget about it? Think about it. If they've done a dance on this, you don't have to tell them articles and ventricle and learn it by heart and write questions.
Exactly.
Not needed.
Exactly.
It's absolutely
Okay.
not needed. So this is the tracking should be done. See, the skills our children are aware of the teachers.
Ma'am, when we do the tracking, will we not fall into the trap of branding children? Because
No,
it will do some damage also.
it will not do a damage. It will help us to do no child being left behind. You can see that you do all of this. There may be a child who's not dancing, who's not painting, who doesn't want to do anything. He's an introvert child sitting there. How are we going to help the child? This allows you to know that, oh, this child is not participating. Otherwise, as a group, ma'am, everybody did everything. We did a dance today, this, that, that's all finished. There may be two children who are not doing anything. How are we going to help the child? So tracker helps there. So we need to sit with the child, introspect, and find out. He must be a deep thinker. He must be watching, and maybe he's not really keen on doing anything. Children are different nature, unless you know that what the child is good at. So you can say this child introspects a lot, or he's a slightly introvert. He doesn't work in group, and you can help him expose, and then you can bring him out of whatever cocoon he's sitting inside with. So that's why the tracker thing is really, really works well. So, and it can be passed on, change. Some children will have multiple multitasking also. Some child will be good in singing, music, dance, art, and logical. Everything may be good also in the child. So we can, take that progress, and we need not brand it. It's not. We need to get out of those barriers. Teachers cannot brand children. That's a fundamental. They have to understand. As when they read, also they, he did a dance and music. So the teacher remembers as he goes to the next class. The tracker can be handed over to the next teacher. So she also followed up. This was we had suggested it during the pilot study, and then the
Yes.
principal from Shillong said it's amazing now. It's really working well. Now we have given a tracker to every teacher, and then they write down what the child is, and they also find out genetically maybe they may have some interest also. If a mother is a singer, maybe
Yes.
genetically the child. So they are analyzing the intellectual level of children also. Okay, he's having all of that. I mean, it's basically, it should not go into any harm or damage. That we have to be careful, anything that we implement.
Ma'am, for the benefit of the schools, could you tell us something about the performance indicators and how the schools need to read those?